We have a problem.
Well, this is definitely some sad news, because a little while ago I went ahead and reported on the rumor that Skylanders might be returning in 2023 or sometime very, very soon with a collection. And that has now been quite firmly debunked. Now, this was something that spread like wildfire across the internet and actually apparently all originated on Reddit itself. Now, I had actually spotted it on some of the other big video game websites that were reporting on it, hence why I was like, okay, well, they must have heard something else as well, and this is almost like an additional piece of confirmation. Now, the actual detail itself did not particularly strike me as all that strange. As someone that has signed a lot of NDAs for video games and things like that, I have seen plenty of times watermarked documents that look very similar to what these documents look like, hence why it sort of did actually pass the quote-unquote sniff test. But beyond that, this YouTuber right here, BoomBringer, went ahead and tore this thing apart. In fact, if you go back to the original Reddit post, it now has like a little tag next to it that says fake. I don't know how Reddit works in terms of like who went ahead and approved that stamp. Maybe it was just as a result of the videos, or maybe it's the actual person that went ahead and posted now finally like admitting that this was all just a giant ruse. However, the weird thing that I will say is that somehow this is actually, in my opinion, a good thing. And the reason why I would say that is because of the fact that I feel like this kind of stirred up the name of Skylanders back to the headlines, which it hasn't really done in quite a while. Like the last time that we've heard Skylanders mentioned on a pretty massive scale like this, where a lot of like video game websites were reporting on it, etc., was pretty much when the CEO of Activision went ahead and mentioned that once the deal with Microsoft is done, for those that don't know, Activision actually owns the IP of Skylanders, and they're currently in the process of being acquired by Microsoft or Xbox. And they said specifically that once that deal is through, one of the franchises that they really want to focus on is actually Skylanders. That's a franchise that they said has a lot of value that can still be unlocked, which I think makes sense. I mean, this is a franchise that generated over the course of 6 years over $3 billion in sales. So it's kind of crazy to think that this is something that faded away so quickly, but I do think that it has a lot of potential to come back. And oddly enough, even though this rumor is disproved, it's fascinating to think that it might actually go on ahead and act almost like a blip on the radar for Activision to be incentivized even more to start looking into something like this and seeing how much interest there really is. Release a collection and see what kind of a response there will be from the actual market. If the market is very receptive, we can then maybe see another collection containing some of the other games, and then beyond that, maybe you do get a brand new game, which is exactly what I said that they did with Crash Bandicoot, right? Like we got that collection, then after that, the collection sold really well. They released It's About Time, which did well, and then after that, now we're getting another Crash Team Rumble game later this year. So there's tons and tons of precedent for something like this to happen with Skylanders as well.
You ready for this, Rap Team?
How funny would it be if we do end up getting a collection though at the end of the year? That would be hilarious.